Hey guys, this is Tom with TrapMagic.com, and we're about to start another PTQ here. And the deck I have today is the white weenie deck I put together, and I've done a couple matches with it, done a few 4-round daily events, and really like how it's operating. Pretty much, it's a very straightforward deck. Basically, you just attack and hope that they die. So pretty straightforward, but some of the nice nuances of the deck, the addition of the Riders of Gavony really give it a lot of reach, just because it really allows you to kind of have a wave of indifference effect, which allows you to push past a lot of the different creature decks. And in addition, the inclusion of Elite Vanguard I think helps a lot as well. Many of the human decks did not run this card in the past, but I think that it's actually has a pretty important spot here, just because it allows you to really kind of get the early jump on the damage race. And while this card alone is not that good, it does die to a lot of different cards. Being able to get those extra points of damage in is so vital. The other thing that I really enjoy about this deck is being able to run a full 4 Talia. And again, so many of the decks that are being played right now, especially Delver, many of the control decks, Talia is very powerful. So being able to have the full 4 Talia, really, I've been very happy with. In terms of the sideboard, most of the sideboard is really dedicated to either shifting more towards dealing with very creature-heavy Naya or red-green aggro, or kind of shifting more towards dealing with some of the more graveyard-impacted spells. I mean, being able to include Grafdigger's Cage really helps against Delver. It helps against the Solar Flare decks that are still out there. But I think what's nice about this is it allows the deck to kind of change a little bit in terms of just being so straightforward. For instance, against some of the Naya decks and the red-green aggro that run Bonfire, we're able to take out the early game in terms of the champion, the vanguards, the gather the townsfolk that all get blown out by Bonfire, and shift into Day of Judgment and play a much more controlling game against that type of deck. Against decks that do not run Bonfire, such as Delver, other aggressive decks, or Control, we're able to take out some of the heavier elements and then quickly kind of front load more onto War and Peace, and just being able to have access to 4 Fiend Hunters, 4 Relic Warders against Esper mid-range, for instance. The ability to just completely remove the golems that they create from the Blade Splicer is very nice, because it allows you to continue with your momentum, and kind of if you're set up with the maximum kind of a creature removal plan, with the Relic Warders and the Fiend Hunters, you kind of want to shift away from the Day of Judgment, but the Day of Judgment allows you to play the more controlling game. So anyways, I'm very excited to start here for this PTQ, and we will see you guys for round 1. Okay, here we are, guys, for round 1. This hand is just fine, and we will see what we're up against here shortly. Looks like it could be Esper midrange or Delver. All right. So, if we are up against Delver, being able to really get the Talia out, I'm very excited about, just because it puts them so far behind. Looks like we are up against Solar Flare or some version of that, a little bit more controlling element. You know, where Talia is still quite good. If we can set back the Day of Judgment even one turn, very excited for that. So I think, you know, kind of our plan here, since we pretty much are going to be expecting a Day of Judgment effect here, is to run out Gather, and then, you know, kind of keep Hero back for the turn after he runs Day of Judgment out. And being able to lock down his spells is just, it's so important and so vital. And I guess he does have the double image there. Alright. So I mean, at this point, you know, we are kind of playing into Day of Judgment here, but I think we need to continue putting pressure on. So basically our plan here is going to be drop Honor the Pure, drop Gather, Bastion, he Wraths, we drop Hero. Hopefully he doesn't have backup. We could just, you know, drop Gather here. We really need to play out aggressively here, I think. Just because, you know, I mean, if he has the second Wrath, he gets us, but, you know, we got to keep moving forward. We got to try to put him on a clock here. So this is probably Day of Judgment, and if it's not Day of Judgment, he's in a very bad place. You know, so at this point, let's see. If he had Day of Judgment, he probably would have played it right there. He does have the flashback of the Feeling of Dread, so I think that we kind of need to play out Hero here. We do get blown out if he has Day of Judgment, but I think that the potential payoff, otherwise he just gets to sit around and gain life and, you know, increase the turns of this game, I think is worth it. So now he's going to be flashing back. We bash in for 4, get him to 5 or 6. So now he does have the Determinus. So, yeah, unfortunately he did have the Wrath effect there. Haven't seen this type of control deck before with the flashback there, but it's definitely quite powerful here against us. And, you know, potentially we should have held back the Hero, but I think that, you know, if we sat around too long, he would have been able to really kind of just take control of the board in much the same way. With Tamion getting here, we're in a somewhat losing. I mean, we're pretty much in a very losing position here. I'm not sure we can come back from this. So I guess with the the Seraph Sanctuary. This is a miracle Entreat the Angels deck. Okay. But pretty much here, we just want to see if we can find out what the rest of his deck is at this point. We're almost certainly not winning this game, but just for getting information. See if we can run down his clock a little bit. Most likely, though, we can assume that he has Entreat the Angels, several copies at Terminus. You know, so kind of looking at the potential board options here, we want to bring in War and Peace, Oblivion Ring for these Planeswalkers, Relic Order for his artifacts, Grafdigger's Cage. So, you know, we did see Terminus. I'm wondering if he is running also Dave Judgment, at least, you know, a couple copies. I would imagine probably is. Okay, so... Alright, so against this deck we want to bring in... we definitely want to bring in Oblivion Ring. Fiend Hunter. I'm not sure if we want to bring in Fiend... I mean, if he's able to miracle off the Angels, we want to be able to get rid of them, but at the same time, it's going to be about racing, I think. We want Grafdigger's Cage, we want Relic Order, War and Peace as well to kind of get through and maximize the damage. We could potentially bring in Day of Judgment just because it allows us to wrath his Angels if he's able to go off. It's kind of a failsafe. What did we take out? I don't think Fiend Hunter is going to be as important. He's not running too many creatures here. For running Sword, we probably want to be running Crusader. Riders lets us, you know, get through his Angels, but at the same time, do need to make some cuts here, and I think I want to have our top end be Hero Blade hold. If he's running Image, hero may not be as amazing. It's still quite good, but we do need to make some cuts here. I definitely want to try to get the Crusaders in, just because with the swords, that effect is so powerful. And I think, you know, the low drops are important just because it allows us to really kind of, you know, get enough power to go over the top. Alright, so image on hero is pretty rough. Gotta make some cuts. Not sure what the cuts are here. Just gonna take a stab here in the dark. Cut down on me. I need the O-rings though. Shit. Okay, we'll just kind of go like this. Lower the curve. I'm not sure about these cuts, but we'll see. His hand is fine. This is exactly what I like to see here, because now we can go Silverblade, and then into War and Peace next turn. This puts him on a pretty short clock. So if he doesn't have an answer pretty much this turn of some kind, we just drop Honor the Pyramid and win on the spot. And Ponder is not going to do it. And that's the game. So, with our nice fast start, you know, really able to push it out. Now let's take a little bit more time, kind of find out. I think what we really need is we need the quick starts to be able to lock him out on this. What else do you want to cut or potentially move around? I think this might be a decent build for the deck right now. We have some O-rings to get rid of his threats. We have the Relic Orders to keep the pressure high. I think I'm just going to go this way. So now it's going to be between dropping Silverblade and connecting with Sword. I think at this point, well, we could be mana efficient here and drop Silverblade, or we could drop Talia to, you know, prevent some of his spells. I'm not sure what is really the right move here, to be honest. I think dropping Silverblade here is actually something we want to be doing. Keep the damage going, being a little bit more mana efficient. And unfortunately it does allow him to Wrath. So I think here we still just want to drop Vanguard into Silverblade. Now we could also drop our Vanguard into Sword, but I think Vanguard Silverblade is a little bit safer. Or we could just drop Vanguard Talia. I think Vanguard Silverblade though is what we want to be doing. This way if we draw the land we can still play and equip Sword of War and Peace. And there's Tameo. So now we're definitely playing and equipping War and Peace to take out or to reduce Tameo. Or to take out Tameo, I should say. Hang on a second. 4, 8, 16. I guess that's just game. Alright, so nice comeback there with Sword. Very happy with the double strike, and we will see you for round 2.